All right. All right. All right. Hold up. All right. So many people feel today like everything is kind of collapsing on itself. Many people feel like there's nothing we can really do about this. And people are falling into despair, nihilism, trying to find ways to cope, usually in forms of kind of lower form escapism, video games, junk food, other things that won't be mentioned, but you can think about, right? Um, and it's bad. It is bad because you see it. A lot of people are kind of silently quitting on life in general, on life as a whole, right? They're not just quitting in some kind of pursuit of excellence they wanted, which in and of itself is bad, but they're quitting in just all facets of life. And look, to an extent, all right, to an extent, I can't say I necessarily completely blame them. Now, I do think what they're doing is bad. I do think that just living and being a loser and being in despair is not going to solve anything, and those people are part of the problem. 100%, I think that. But it's like, yeah, to an extent, I can't really blame them because what is there to really lose? What is there to really gain? Right? It's just kind of a big fat nothing burger we're in right now, where men don't really have this higher purpose, this higher pursuit. A lot of men, right? We're all just kind of living in this individualistic bubble that is ourselves. It's very unfortunate, and that's definitely the main part of the issue is that everyone's just kind of in their own little bubble. Everyone's just kind of floating through life. Everyone's a floater. Most people are at the end of the day. And I can sit here and I can tell you, oh, just go to the gym, bro. Oh, just fix your diet, bro. Oh, dude, just go out and like socialize, man. Those things are all good. Those things are all valuable, right? I mean, I go to the gym a lot. I love the gym. I love exercise. I make sure my diet's clean and taken care of. I make sure, I'm going out and talking to people and socializing, right? I'm not always just alone. Of course, those are all good things. But people will provide those things, those actions as complete solutions to really a bigger issue that's more of a collective issue, right? And the collective issue is that um, the dating market is cooked, right? The economy is cooked. Other stuff is cooked. I talked about in my last video a couple days ago about how modern architecture, suburbanization, aesthetics, we don't have that anymore. We're missing kind of the beauty of everyday life. That's just one of many, many to name that slowly but surely will kill the soul. I do really think that, but the solution is not to be killed. The solution is to kind of fight back, keep the hope, take the white pill. I'll explain the white pill in a second if you don't know what it is, and live for the higher forms, the higher things in this life. Pursue excellence in whatever you want to pursue. Not necessarily whatever you want, but in higher things, right? I'm not saying pursue excellence in like video games. That's not what I'm saying. But yeah, just live for the higher things, pursue the higher things. So how do we actually get to how do we apply the solution I gave, right? Keep the hope, take the white pill, live, pursue excellence in higher things. Bear in mind, I'm like really congested right now. I gotta I think I just gotta dust my room. I low key forgot to. I usually dust it like once every couple of weeks, and I forgot to. I didn't realize, and now I'm feeling the effects because I wake up so congested these past few days. So I gotta, kind of ease in here. But first of all, I do want to say there's a lot of bad going on. The economy is basically burning. This is what happens when you're in a society that kind of just prints money, right? We're in a debt based society. So money doesn't actually really have any true intrinsic value. That's problematic in a lot of ways because money, whether you like it or not, makes the world go round. It does. And, real estate is cooked, right? The housing market, like, dude, there are more home buyers. There are more home buyers that are like boomers than Gen Z, and that should not be happening. In what other generation were Gen Z people not buying as many homes as boomers? It doesn't make any sense. You got to think the younger generation are the ones getting married, having families moving into cribs. It's not actually happening anymore. That's a real, real problem that never existed at any other point in time. I mean, maybe once or twice, but it was mitigated quickly. Right now, we're just kind of like, no one really seems to actually care that much. That's a big deal. It's a big problem, right? The 9 to 5 that works so well for the older gens doesn't really provide much anymore, right? Your basic retail job, your basic office job, which could raise a family of 4 or 5, maybe even 6, back in the day, back in the olden times, doesn't really, it's not really how it works anymore. Right now, your 9 to 5, it's going to be hard to provide for yourself, even just living alone, especially in a house. If you're like in a studio apartment or something, you probably are fine, but it's very unfortunate kind of what's going down, right? I'm speaking from this as someone who's not an adult, but this is my perspective. This is my outlook. This is what I hear and see. I know people now who are grown men, obviously. I mean, as I get older, some of my friends who are older, whatnot, they're adults. And you hear it a lot. You hear the kind of common sentiment of like, holy crap, like, I need 3 roommates. I'm working 40 hours a week and I need 3 roommates to afford our apartment. It's like, oh my gosh, like, we're fried beyond belief. I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to raise a family if this is how, like, the economy is. And that's a really big issue. Not only that, but dating, marriage, right? Relationships with the opposite gender. It's kind of cooked now, too. I referred to the dating scene as the dating market earlier. That's the first issue, I think. People think about it as a market. People think about dating as some kind of transactional thing where, like, you enter the marketplace when you become an adult or when you become kind of age to date, right? Um, that's honest. That's absurd, right? I mean, to be honest here, like, in no other point in time was courting, because it was courting for marriage. No one saw it as a market. It was more so like a communal thing where you would get together in like the village with some girl you freaking like you grew up with in the village. Then, when the time comes, y'all see fit for each other. Maybe your two families arrange it and y'all get married. Oh, but arranged marriages are so bad. They're so bad. I think at times, yes, like it can be bad, but it's not like all marriages, like all arranged marriages are just like you two are just gonna get married. It's not, and sometimes that's how it is, but a lot of times the arranged marriage was just like two families see these two like, okay, these two, they could actually come together. We could really, you know, these two could build a family. They see, they seem to work well with each other. And usually the man and the woman also kind of agreed, right? They loved each other, all these things that we kind of miss out on now. It's all a market. It's all dating for fun. And even if you're dating for marriage, it's like it just feels transactional still, right? Marriage is kind of just like a contract now. And, the social contract theory, of course, would say that, well, everything is. Not really. There's higher forms, there's higher stuff out there, right? These ideas of love, of romance, right? Pursuing something greater than the lower things of like lust and, material gain, benefit, what works, what can she give me? There's stuff that's bigger than that, but people have reduced dating down to the lower things. That's a real issue. Men and women want different things as well. There's men, I think it's like 60% of men or something want to have kids. There was a survey done, they said they want to have kids. 40% of women say they want to have kids. It's pretty significant. Only two-thirds the amount of women say they want to have kids as do men. It's pretty problematic, right? I mean, let's be honest. Those 40% of women that say they want to have kids, okay, now you got to think about what percentage out of those women are actually quality women, right? Because some women say they want to have kids, but like you might not get married to that, right? I'm talking about quality for you, right? Kind of the standard varies, probably like 5%. But those 5% of women who are super high quality, whatever trad, as you might say, even though I think the trad white thing is BS. But, you know, those women are going for men and pursuing men that are above them. So you might not even be able to actually get that. Because you got to think, okay, out of these 40% of women, which ones are even in my age range, my age demographic? Okay, this, and this, you filter out things because you have to, right? You have standards, not only do you have standards, but there's like the age range thing that reduces it by a lot. You remember, like 15, 10, 15%. I think it was like young women, but still, people date so like close within each other, like each other's age range now. It's like, even as adults, obviously as kids, yeah, of course, right? You want to date within that one, maybe even 2 years, even if that age range. But like as an adult, like a 32-year-old dating like a 25-year-old, I mean, I don't necessarily see what's like so immoral or abhorrent about that. I don't know. But it's not really a thing anymore. So you're dating like within 2, 3 years, maybe even five of each other now. It reduces the percentage by a lot. And you got to think about this, and that. And those women are going to go for men who are above them in age and status and money, hypergamy, right? So you're kind of like fried, bro. You are kind of fried in a way. Not saying, not saying that you're not going to be able to get married, but it is much more of a task. It's much more of a challenge to find a quality woman, and then to get married to that quality woman, to actually have her be attracted to you. It's just crazy. And then on the other side, you got the red pill BS that spews this kind of stuff that women suck. This and that's terrible. It's terrible. You don't want that, rotting and polluting your mind either. Not only that, but the red pill culture is it's not traditional at all, right? A lot of these dudes are like in like polygamous relationships. It's weird. It's weird, and they think, yeah, this is what a man is. People are buying that, or buying at least half of it, right? Even if you're buying half of what they're selling, you're still a consumer, right? I mean, if you buy half of what your local grocery store is selling, like you're a big time consumer, right? They love you because you give them that paper, that even if you agree or like one fifth of what they're saying, and you're like, yeah, I actually like that. You're still a consumer, so don't buy any of the red pill BS. I know even a broken clock is right twice, and some of these dudes, not everything they say is like completely false, but it's a slippery slope because they like to appeal to the young nihilistic man's mindset. Man, I don't know what to do. I'm in despair, all this. Well, by the way, like, hey, it's not really your fault, but if you take action and you just do this, this, and this, and you buy my course too, you'll be fine, right? That's what they like to sell. Don't buy that. That's all a ploy for them to just make money. So the economy sucks. The dating market, the dating scene sucks. I'm not going to call it the market. That's a stupid term. There's a lot of other stuff that's kind of bad as well that kind of stems from these things, right? We're in a very secular society. You can complain about the secularism of today, all that, and it's valid. I get it. But it's like there have been secular societies, secular, that have come before us that still aren't this bad. Like this is really hellish, and there's got to be something kind of deeper to it. Like, are we in a secular society, or are we just straight up in like a satanic society? Because I mean, this is really bad. Like this is you don't see this. You haven't seen this ever in history. A lot of the stuff we're witnessing, like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy how much they're attacking ordinary things like the family, right? These things that have been so basic to us, and so I guess you could even say primitive throughout the history of human race are no longer so ordinary. Getting married and having multiple kids is no longer so normal. You're actually kind of a unicorn. You kind of stand out amongst the crowd. And it's so much like this, so much more like this that was so typical, so ordinary of the olden times that we don't have anymore. So what do we do about it? This is kind of a more controversial. I'm a little nervous to say it. I'm out here scratching my neck. I'm like, ooh, ooh. This is big and controversial. This is a hot take. The solution, I would say, is just to thug it out. Just thug it out. I know that sounds kind of dumb. And I think if that's your end point and you don't say anything beyond that, or you don't digress or explain what that means, yeah, that's pretty stupid. But there's more to it than just the surface level statement, just thug it out, right? Stay on your stuff. Stay on your John. Right? Do what you gotta do. You know what you have to do. You know what's required of you. Right. Continue to pursue improvement. Continue to, pursue health. Right. Go to the gym, eat a clean diet, take care of your sleep. Right. Take care of your stress. Socialize. Do all those good things. All those good things. Do it. Right. Stay on your stuff. You know, work hard on your job or your business or whatever or your hobby. Maybe it's just one of those seasons where you're just kind of hobbying it out, right? Maybe you're on a little work break. Maybe you're a teacher and you're on summer break, but it's like, yo, let me pursue like some freaking, you know, I don't know. I don't even know. Hobby. Right? Stay on your stuff, man. Do what you want to do in this life. Take risks. I don't mean do what you want to do based on impulse, right? People think, oh, when people say like you do you, usually they're just meaning like just do what you want to do with no thought to it. That's not what I mean. I mean, do what you want to do in terms of like your purpose, right? Do what you want to do in terms of your goals, your aspirations. If you want to have a family, go out and pursue that, right? Just because, this is the big thing. Just because the dating scene sucks, just because the economy sucks, it's so stupid to sit here and whine about all the time. Because look, at the end of the day, I've said this before to friends. I've used this before to kind of not only lift myself up in times, but also, friends, whatever. Think about Tom Brady. This is kind of a tangent. Just stay with me. Think about Tom Brady for a second, right? 6 time, 7 time Super Bowl champion. The greatest NFL player of all time, no doubt. He didn't really have much going for him. He wasn't the number one overall pick. He wasn't the standout prospect. He wasn't actually expected to do anything in the pros. He was a super, super late draft pick. He was I think like a third string quarterback, like the backup of the backup on his team. He was literally left bench his rookie year. Yet, he became the GOAT. Do you think Tom Brady became the GOAT by by saying to himself, oh, I got drafted in the 6th round. I'm a third stringer. I'm playing left bench. You know, this is all I'm gonna do. This is it. I guess I'm just had to roll with this. You know, it is what it is. Nah, man. He took risks. You know what I'm saying? He found opportunity. Now you can say, oh, well, Drew Bledsoe, the starting QB of the Patriots, when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl that year, he got injured in the second game. And then they let Tom Brady play. He just got lucky. BS, dude. No matter what, Brady would have found himself starting on some sort of football team, and he still would have been a great player, right? Not only that, but it's stuff like that. He sees the opportunity. That's the thing. You will have opportunity. 99% of you guys watching this will have big opportunities come your way. Whether you seize them or not, that's up to you. Right? So stay on your stuff, keep doing what you're doing, thug it out. Right? Don't be in this despair, just keep thugging it out. Do what you gotta do, man. Opportunities will arise just sporadically. And if even you can seize one of them to the fullest, that's big time. That can really be life changing. Right? You have nothing to lose, dude. You have nothing to lose. Right? We are in a world now that it is cooked. World's burning. Right? I've heard that sentiment so many times. The world's burning. It's true. It is true. But it's okay, if it is, then take some risks. Now, I'm not saying be stupid, right? There's obviously, in the ancient Greek, virtue ethics, there's this idea of the happy medium, right? So, courage is the perfect idea of courage is the middle point, the middle ground between recklessness. And I think it's I don't even know. Think about it like risk taking. But really, you're probably on this side. It's like timidness and recklessness or something like that. Recklessness is the risk taking. If this is recklessness and this is timid, you don't care, you don't take risks at all, you don't have any courage, you're probably a lot more on this side. Odds are you are. Right? I'm even more a little bit on this side. I'll just say that. But getting to that middle ground, you're going to have to take some drastic steps, right? Like I said, don't be reckless, don't do anything super stupid, but take some risk, right? If you want to start up that business, you've been thinking, oh man, that could really work. Something could really happen, but too bad I have a job. Too bad, I'm working my 9 to 5. And At the end of the day, I'm comfortable. I'm making decent money. I'm holding it down. I'm getting by. So I'm not gonna start I'm not gonna. No, no. That's too risky. I wouldn't quit my job. Okay, why not for 6 months? Every time, every day you get home from work, every weekday, promise yourself for an hour, at least an hour. I'm just gonna work on my business. 6 months, just lock in like that, right? I mean, and then on the weekends I'll work 2 hours. That's like 7 hours a week. What, 25 weeks later? That's like freaking almost 200 hours of working on your business. You might actually have some potential. And I would bet actually that you could get something going. And then maybe another 6 months, you kind of have a little business going. And then you have your job. And then after 6 months, you're like, you know what? I'm actually making enough money with this business to the point where I don't need this job. So let me get like a part time job working like 20 hours a week so that I'm still somewhat safe, right? And then another 6 months, and it's like, I don't need that. And then now you're home free, you're in the home stretch. All it takes is that little risk. The risk isn't quitting your job and saying, okay, I don't care. Like that's not that's not what you want. The risk is saying, I'm just gonna work a little bit harder. Or I'm gonna work on my business once I get home from work. That's a risk in and of itself because you could do so I could I'm gonna miss hopping on my video games when I get home. I'm gonna miss watching, my TV. No, man, like my Netflix. Saying you're gonna work on your business instead of doing that stuff after work, that's a risk. That's what I mean by take risk. You have nothing to lose, so just freaking do it. Take the white pill. The white pill is the opposite of the black pill. The black pill, people think, oh, it's cooked, it's over, it's fried. Nah, man, it's not cooked. It's not cooked. It's just beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't think about life like, oh, it's cooked. It's over. What else is there to do? What else is there to pursue? Don't think about life like that. That's dork, John. That's lame. Be optimistic. Have a good outlook on life, right? Oh, but the economy, I don't care, bro. I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? And look, I'm facing it myself. You think, oh, you're just a kid. I'm facing the music. I'm thinking about this stuff every day now, where it's like, okay, in a year and a half's time, in 2 years' time, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be out in the real world. The real world. I'm thinking about this every day. Like, wow, okay, wow, it is crazy, right? And I don't know what to do. Like, I gotta manage this. So my mentality is I'm thinking a lot now through the lens of like, what am I gonna do when I'm 18? What am I gonna do when I'm grown? And I'm not here trying to get motion. And honestly, what I've come to is just like, I'm just gonna stay on it. I'm gonna get my personal training job. I'm gonna have a little online thing on the side. Maybe doing one-on-one coaching. I know I'm not really doing that right now. I'm trying to get a normal job. Probably going to here very, very soon. Good odds in my favor for this one job right now. At least I think. But because the personal training thing, I know I was just talking about take risks, but like there's a lot involved. There's a lot of like because I'm not 18, a lot of stuff is just weird. A lot of legal, John. So it's like, all right. Plus, maybe just keep the job, that I have now. But I'm 18. I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start personal training. Gonna have a little thing on the side. I'm just going to keep churning through life, man. This is the thing. A lot of these despair bros. Much of the reason you're in despair is because you're in despair. all the time. Much of the reason your life sucks is because you're in despair. A lot of people, you got to think about this too. Oh man, no one can afford homes. No one. A lot of people's lives, like they don't really do much. They go to their job, sure, right? But it's like they really do much. So if you're really somebody who's locking in, locking in, John, you got a positive outlook on life. You know the reality. You know the reality. You're at the end of the day, you're playing a rigged game, a game that's against you. But it's like, you know what? I don't care. It's like a team in the Super Bowl who knows that the other team paid the refs off, they're cooked. But it's like, you know what? With that in mind, we're gonna go out and we're gonna play our hearts out. And maybe, just maybe, we can actually still perhaps win. I don't know. I don't know, but let's just do it. Let's do it. Let's have some freaking fun. That is what you want. That's how you want to think about this world. Because at the end of the day, it is rigged against you. Right? Unless you're a Rothschild, it's cooked. But just roll with it. Right? Roll the dice. Take a risk. Gamble a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, don't be an idiot about it, but come on. Pursue the higher forms. Pursue academic things. Academia, right? What's a subject you're really into? For me, it's philosophy. I found that. I'm studying that. I'm reading about it now. I really enjoy that. Athletic pursuits. For me, that's lifting. And those will always change over time. Maybe academic, in 10 years, I'm going to really like, I don't know, history. I already really like history. Like, it's definitely my second. But, yeah, nonetheless, nonetheless, maybe maybe that'll be my main thing in 10 years, my primary. My athletic pursuit, I might be, I don't know, trying to do boxing or jujitsu. I'm really into that, right? But these are higher goals and higher purposes that can really be a good accessory to your life. Um, maybe it's not going to be the whole thing. A lot of people can't make money off of being a philosopher, or like a jujitsu athlete or a lifter. But having those in your back pocket throughout life is always good to have. So at the end of the day, don't let what's going on lead you into despair because that doesn't solve anything. You're not helping yourself or anybody else. You're doing exactly what they want you to do. That's being in despair. Let's feel like there's nothing collapsing. Oh, there's nothing we can do. That's what they want, dude. They don't want people who are optimistic, people who have a bright outlook, people who are working on something big. So take the white pill, be optimistic, have a good outlook, stay on your stuff, thug it out. God bless.